The Transmetal driver happened to be sitting in a pedestal a few feet away from
Yep.
where Black Arachnia died, and everyone else just leaves her. They go, well, there's nothing we can do. Oh, well, time to go grab a beer and watch the game. And they all fuck off and leave the room. The Transmetal driver, like, floats. They just leave for no reason. I don't understand why they wouldn't bury her or recycle her or something, right?
Recycler. Just like throw her into the compactor. well, we don't need this anymore.
Does anyone want to have a go with her before I throw her in the compactor? Now's your chance while she's warm.
Oh, Christ.
Too much energy. Maximize!
Alert. Quantum surge detected. Vector 597.
No, not that.
Greetings, citizens of planet Energon. Welcome to episode 47 of Too Much Energon, the Lasercomb podcast where we talk about Beast Wars shit and talk shit about Beast Wars. I'm one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
I'm your other host, NeoCal.
What's going on, Cal?
Oh, talking shit about Beast Wars and talking about Beast Wars shit.
As we do every week.
And this week we got a little season finale. Kind of?
Kinda?
Sort
I mean,
of?
we did
Wrap
it.
up.
We did
Wrap
it.
up, I mean.
We did it, man. We did it. We covered
we did it.
We covered every episode of Beast Wars.
We did it.
Like, can you fucking believe it? We did this shit for every week for nearly a year now.
It's weird that suddenly we were nearing the end, and I was like, "Huh, wow! I guess we're here."
Yeah,
indeed.
Indeed. Yeah, we're completely done the series now, and so we did a wrap up and recap of season 1 because season 1 was really fucking long. It was 26 episodes. We didn't bother with the end of season 2 because seasons 2 and 3 are both only 13 episodes apiece. So I thought, why not?
Yeah.
Now's a good time to do another wrap up and recap episode. We're doing it with way less preparation this time than last time.
What are you gonna do?
Because I just didn't really plan anything out for this episode other than just bullshitting about seasons 2 and 3 of Beast Wars, which are full of bullshit, I will say.
Ahoy, matey.
Ahoy.
Yeah. And that's... You could say, oh, well, season 1 is longer. That's why it's better.
No. I think the reason why season 1 is, and I'm officially going to go on record here and say that season 1 of Beast Wars is best Beast Wars. And I think the reason why is because that is when the concept was at its simplest and its purest. The Maximals and Predacons crash on planet Energon. They find out there is too much Energon, and they need to adopt beast forms in order to shield themselves from Energon radiation poisoning, essentially.
By taking on their disguise forms, which are creatures, alive creatures.
Yeah.
Some are dinosaurs, some are bugs.
Yeah, the science behind that, really silly. But
it just needs to make sense.
but from
Yeah.
a narrative perspective, like it works. Like it works as a
Oh,
plot
definitely.
device. Like it works really well. And like it does like it necessitate I've said this before, but it necessitates them having alt modes, unlike G1 where it's like, "Oh, we're robots in disguise, but we're just going to turn into fucking robots like 30 seconds later." So now the world just knows that we're like 30-foot tall robots. So why the fuck do we even have alt modes? This show actually
Humans.
this show actually like has a point, or at least it did in the first season. Like there was a point for them to have an
And
alternate
it's
form.
twofold. One, they can't stay in their robot form before the for long before they build up energon buildup.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense, right?
Yep.
So they have to transform. Two, they automatically conduct internal repairs when they're in their beast mode.
Yep.
Boom, boom, boom. Good reasons to switch back and forth. You've got a
Yep.
fight mode and you've got an animal mode, a
Yep.
repair mode, a rest mode.
And it also provides the writers like a really easy way to end a battle without actually like killing, like having like one side win, or like having to like deal with like the narrative like gymnastics of like trying to explain like why characters aren't dying in like every single battle.
The Maximals are kind of winning. The Predacons retreat, and the Maximals let them go. But when the Predacons are winning, energon buildup, blast it, and then
Convert
they have
back to beast mode.
and
Yeah.
then retreat. Like so, like you said, it's a very handy tool to make sure that no one side wins decisively, even if they're winning an episode.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, and season 1 also, like the mystery of the like quote unquote aliens was actually like that was really cool. That was really
was
cool to
very
experience.
cool.
It was cool to experience 25 years ago when I was 11 years old. And even like rewatching through the show now, I'm like, yeah, the mystery of like who and what the aliens are. Like this is really rad.
Yes.
Unfortunately, like they completely shit the fucking bed on it. On an episode that I believe me and you both gave no energon late in season 3.
I am so offended. I'm gonna have to write my own fan fiction to make up for.
Well, we'll rest
I'd
assured.
rather.
Rest
I'd
assured.
rather.
Rest assured. My for the listeners, I've been kicking around ideas of doing a Beast Wars role playing game as part of this podcast, and the concept that I've cooked up is set right after the end of the final episode of season 1 and completely disregards seasons 2 and 3. No transmetals, no fusor bullshit, like none of that.
Thank goodness.
And
And
that
it makes
that
sense too.
that role playing game story will go its own way with the aliens.
While following the canon to an extent, because
Yeah, yeah.
if the viewers recall, the listeners recall, and a lot of the stasis pods fell out of orbit during the energon surge.
Yeah.
The transwarp moon thing exploding.
Yeah.
Because of the transwarp drive that was on the stasis pod, right?
Planet Buster
And some of them-
explodes, quantum surge, boom.
Quantum surge. That's what I'm thinking of. Sorry, quantum surge knocks a lot of the stasis pods in orbit down. Some of them are fucky because of the quantum surge and their fusors. Okay, like whatever, but none of the fusors are exceptionally cool. Silverbolt grows on me, but Quick Strike is forget complete. Oh, like every second he is on screen makes that episode worth.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm wrong.
No, you're not. You're not.
Every
Not at all.
second he's on screen is the episode is worse for it. Whereas Silverbolt, he's like the paladin, and at least they pursued something with Black Arachnia there. But
Mm-hmm.
the idea of putting the tabletop game set on planet Energon, but kind of away from the fray. Makes sense because presumably there's a dozen, 2 dozen. We don't know. It looked like a lot whenever it showed them in space. Pods just all over the place that the Maximals and Predacons could never reach.
Yeah. Yeah,
And it makes sense
I
that
always
by
thought that there was
default they would
probably
be Maximals.
like 30 or 40 of them.
Or yeah, like a ton. And by default, they're Maximals unless something's fucky with them, i.e., 90% of the time something's fucky
Yeah.
with them.
Ironically enough, like the one time a stasis pod actually has a smooth landing, a fucking stupid, insane transformer emerges.
Perfectly nothing wrong with it. I still maintain that Tarantulas effed something up and scrambled his brains while he was like inserting his microchips
Yeah.
to program it.
Yeah.
Because remember, he was like taking it out and he was like putting it back in. It was like beast mode already scanned or something. He was like, no.
Yeah.
And so he fucked it up and Inferno came out.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
Or
Rip in
pieces.
pieces.
Rip in
Probably
pieces,
pieces.
yeah. But that's season
And
one.
all-
But all of that is season 1 of Beast Wars. We are talking about seasons 2 and 3.
That's how much we liked seasons 2 and 3.
That when we're just talking about the show in broad strokes, we just default back to talking about season 1.
Yeah, yeah.
So to
Okay, you know what? Season 2. Let's do it.
yeah, let's give like a quick like recap of season 2. So what happened in season 2?
Started with the result of the transwarp explosion.
Yeah, quantum surge happens, converts basically all of the OG transformers, like the ones who actually like crash there, so non-protoforms, converts all of them into transmetals unless they were in a CR chamber. In the case of Waspinator, Rhinox, and Dinobot, yeah. So it converts all of them. Blah 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 blah. Stasis pods come crashing down. Fusors emerge. At first, like Megatron convinces them that they're Predacons. One of them is all like, "Yeehaw! I like the sound of that. Woo!" And the other one is like, "No, I would rather be a part of the Boy Scouts of America." And,
Megatron's like, bad dog. Whip him.
and
So they go their separate ways.
yeah, yeah. So they go their separate ways. Like a battle ensues at the Axelon, and the Maximals think that they're about to lose. And meanwhile, Rhinox was going on a vision quest, and he somehow found Optimus Primal Spark floating out in space and brings it back to planet Energon and puts it into a blank protoform, and Optimus is reborn, and now he has a surfboard. He has a flying surfboard. Cool.
I like how the iterations of Optimus just kind of get worse.
Yeah, they
Like,
definitely
I thought
do.
that I couldn't dislike anything more than Silver Surfer Optimus. But then Optimal Optimus comes by in season 3, and
Yep.
his hands move. That's all I want to say when he's a jet.
Yeah, multiple times. I don't like it. If you've been listening to the show, you know that neither me nor Cal are fans of that.
Yeah. So where are we? There's like a other visits bullshit in season 2, right?
So from there, like a whole bunch of shenanigans ensues with like Megatron having a weird obsession with having his troops out on the field building jamming towers. It was such a weird plot point in season 2. It was like this just it was a thing that I feel like the writers were just using as an excuse to have Predacons off doing something.
Yeah.
But it's like
They're out there doing stuff.
But it's like they just kept going back to like jamming towers though. It's like you can have them off doing other things. Why do you need all these
Well,
like why do you need all these jamming towers? And why didn't you need all these jamming towers before? And why didn't you need all these jamming towers afterward? Because like spoiler alert, all of these jamming towers that they built, that they were trying to build, they never succeeded.
well, presumably a lot of them were successful because there is one or two episodes where Maximals try to communicate to each other and they go, "Oh, damn, signal's jammed."
Uh
So, presumably off screen in
yeah.
between the episodes, they're the idiot squad. So what? Inferno, Waspinator, and Quick Strike are building these jamming stations, and they work sometimes. It's like an annoying hindrance that Megatron makes the idiot Predacons go do to give them something to do, I guess.
Fair. Meanwhile, while all of this is going on, Black Arachnia has she has some stuff in her head, which we find out very early on in the season. She has some stuff in her head that's like relating to like golden disk data. And
Yeah,
speaking
she
of
snatched it.
yeah, she
She
stole
or sorry, she copied the data from Megatron's private terminal, but then destroyed the backup.
yeah. And so Dinobot goes to the Predacon base at one point and steals Megatron's golden disc, which is that the alien disc? Or no, he steals both of them, right?
Yep, he's got both of them.
Yeah, the original golden disc from the Voyager spacecraft from Earth,
Mm-hmm.
and the alien disc. So he steals them and goes through like kind of this like crisis of conscience about like what he should do with them, what his place in the universe is, like blah 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 blah. He tries to like join
Contemplates destroying them. Yeah.
yeah, he tries to join the Predacons again, and we get this like really dumb scene where Megatron is like, "You must swear your loyalty to the Predacons by killing another one of my Predacons."
That way, I have less troops to fight the Maximals with and win the Beast Wars once and for all.
Right? It was
And
not
of course, it's Quick Strike.
yeah.
But to be fair, as soon as he chose Quick Strike as his warrior, I was like, "Oh, okay." He just wants a reason to get rid of Quick Strike. I don't blame him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Maximals have rubbed off on him at this point, and Dinobot makes a point of being like, "Hey, there's no point in me killing him. That's just one less troop for the Beast Wars."
Yeah.
And Megatron's like, "Okay, you have a good point."
There is one bit in that episode that I like where Megatron straight up asks him for the golden discs back, and Dinobot's like, yeah, sure, of course. I'll get it for you tomorrow.
And
He
he's
like
"I'll
turns
go
away.
get it tomorrow."
Yeah.
And Megatron's like, I don't think so. I think you're going to get it right now."
I just love like Dinobot's like gumption there being like, I'll get it for you tomorrow.
I got shit to do.
Yeah.
Like clear out Waspinator stuff from my old bunk.
Yeah, I'm kind of busy right now, but you know, I can fit it in tomorrow.
Yeah, the balls of just telling him, "Yeah, I'll go get it tomorrow."
Yeah.
So where are we at?
Yeah, so that doesn't work out, and Dinobot like rejoins the Maximals, and then Tigatron and Bird Mom get kidnapped by like an alien biodome and sent off into space. And then Megatron takes over the alien biodome.
And he becomes it, and his face is in it.
Yeah. And some shit goes on there. I don't really remember what.
We
But
don't see Bird Mom and Tiger Dad for like ever. And
Too
holy
long.
shit, it's a disappointing when they come back.
It really is, yeah.
Oh my god, I'd rather they be dead or it be a mystery than whatever fucking. Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. Anyways, and they
Like
disappear forever.
they disappear, and then it's like, and then later on it's like, huh, I wonder like what happened to Tigatron and Airraiser, and you see like, I don't know, like two stars like right beside one another, like twinkle in the sky or something like that, to allude that they are out there somewhere. That's better.
Yeah.
Even something like that is better than fucking Tigerhawk.
I would have liked if they just never addressed where the aliens come from, where they were, if they came back, and they never showed Tigatron or Airraiser. They're out there somewhere. I would have been fine with that.
Mm-hmm. But no.
Anyways, but no, they get sucked up and off they go. What happens? Does the
They
Maximal kind of ally with Tarantulas? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, to destroy the
Uh,
alien biodome. I think the alien disc gets destroyed in the process.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Megatron's like planning to, like, he hooks some like transwarp drives up to the alien biodome and is like planning to fly it back to Cybertron.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Seems legit.
so Tarantulas and Rat Trap like blow that shit up, like rig the transwarp cells to explode, and then they blow that up, and then
Some psyop. Yeah.
a mysterious giant big ass stasis pod crashes on the planet, brandishing a big bad looking X, as Cheetor describes it.
X gonna give it to you. And he here's so I actually really like that episode
It's interesting, yeah.
because of the implications, not because the episode's necessarily very interesting. It reveals that
The Maximals were up to some shady shit.
they were up to some shady shit. Sorry, I have allergies right now, and allergies like make me, for some reason, like make me feel like I'm short of breath, so I yawn, my eyes water. Um, but what's it called? Bad Spark.
Yeah.
Protoform X is a gigantic like creature with an indestructible spark.
He's a giant enemy crab.
He's a giant enemy crab, and they flip it on its back to expose its weak point.
And attack it for massive damage.
That's literally what happens in that episode.
Fucking Christ, we're referencing like an E3 press conference from literally 15 years ago. It's just, it's so good. You know,
It must just be us that remember that shit.
I saw a Watch Mojo like top 20 moments from E3. Nothing from that press conference was on it. And I was like, really?
Really?
And it's like,
Really?
not even like it's not even just that like all the stuff on this like top 20 list was like all good things either. Like there was some like bad things, some like cringy things. And I'm like, seriously,
Not
like
$599 US dollars?
not $599 US dollars, not it's Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer. With what literally one person in the crowd being like, woo. I'm like, really, guys?
Apparently it's just you and I, man.
I guess. If listeners, if you find Sony's amazing E3 2006 press conference as hilarious as we do, write in and tell us about it. Too much energon at outlook.com.
So what happens with Bad Spark? Megatron like shaves a chunk of his spark off so that he can torture him
Yeah.
at will, and rein him in to be able to control him.
I actually dug that bit because, and I mentioned this on the episode of Too Much Energon where we covered it, but that was legitimately like the most like
villainous.
That was the first time we've seen Megatron actually be like genuinely cruel and evil.
That is different than him being a mustachio twirling like villain who recites like Shakespeare.
Cheers. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This is he is actually like cruel and manipulative and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It was a turning point for
if
Megatron.
I
I liked
didn't,
it.
I wonder what I rated that because I was more. I eased up as we got into season three, but I was more scrutinous because we had just come out of season one.
Season 1, yeah.
Yeah, but the implication that Optimus was involved with Protoform X. Remember that like 10-second like flashback? It's all like
Oh,
black and white.
he was
Like
definitely
Sin
there.
City.
Yeah.
Don't I have that as my Twitter like background
I think
or
you do,
something?
yeah. It's like
Something
your
like that.
Twitter
Yeah.
like banner photo, I think.
The banner, yeah. I'm like, whoa, where's I want an episode of just that. Don't give me 2 episodes of Depth Charge fighting. Um,
Right?
like give me a flashback episode. I'm okay with that. Like
Yeah,
what was and Optimus's his mission was real, but his like secret mission was to dump X on a planet and then fuck off,
yeah.
which is reveals that Optimus isn't the knight in shining armor that
And indeed, like the Maximals aren't as wholly altruistic as we had been previously led to believe. And like
although
they've
Rat
alluded,
Cat's fondness of titty bars
they've
uh,
they've alluded,
gives
they've alluded to the Maximal elders like straight up like withholding information from the public and whatnot. Like I actually want to know more about the politics on Cybertron during this era.
yeah, just snippets of it. So that's why I think Bad Spark is okay because we get little glimpses of something greater. And indeed, X isn't just evil, like Inferno just wants to destroy things.
Yeah,
He's actually a psychopath. Like he is actually a serial killer.
yeah. He's quite intelligent. He's just absolutely heartless.
Yeah. And
Not even
he feels
insane.
most alive when he's torturing
Yeah, not even
and killing.
insane. Like wouldn't.
No.
No.
No, Inferno's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that directly leads into the one of the better parts of the whole series, but like definitely the best part of season 2
Yeah.
and 3. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Code of
If
Hero.
not the whole
Code of
show, it's
Hero.
Code of Hero.
Uh, Most Beast Wars fans like regard this as being the best episode, like top to bottom of Beast Wars. I think it's up there. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I wouldn't even put it in my top 5, to be honest. In the top 10, for sure. Which, down the road, maybe we'll get there, where we do a top 10 list of every episode of Beast Wars from all 3 seasons. But we're not there yet. So yeah, Code of Hero, the Megatron basically has the idea that he is going to turn the tide of the future by, oh yeah, by the way, planet Energon is Earth, in case you didn't know.
He tests this alongside Protoform X, Rampage, by he reads the disc, the Voyager golden disc, and there's a picture stored on it.
Yeah. He
Like
does
it's
that
a
later in the season, but yeah.
DVD. Oh, I thought that was Code of.
No, because at that point, he has a fragment of the golden disc, and he puts it in his dick laser, but it still spins around and is able to like project like a hollow image of a mountain. That's in the
Does that
agenda.
Doesn't he do that in Code of Hero? Because he says, "Ah, this is Earth," which means this canyon births the human race.
Well, he already knew that it was Earth at this point.
He did, but he's showing us, the audience, that because that's when he targets the Canyon of Apes, right?
Yes.
Right. And the only one who happens to be around is Dinobot.
Yeah. Yeah.
The others are a little late. And everybody that likes Beast Wars, like you said, knows this episode in and out. But Dinobot confronts his like fate and he says, "Oh man, there's a famous line. Do you remember it? Like
Which
everyone has a choice, but
Oh yeah, it's something along the lines of like uh yeah, yeah, I don't know. Basically he's like, "Oh, if like presented the choice of like doing whatever or for whatever, but now uh I see that I have no choice. Let the battle be joined," or something along those lines. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, so
and
Dinobot, suddenly Dinobot's issues that he's been wrestling with for the past like several episodes all become clear to him. He's like, Megatron is doing something that is just morally reprehensible, and I have to stop it.
this isn't about Predacons and Maximals and changing fate or whatever anymore. This is this is like it's genocide of an
Yeah,
intelligent race.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is this isn't a question of good or bad. And he steps in and has the element of surprise a little bit, but he doesn't need it. And one thing the show's always done well is show that Dinobot has been as capable or more capable at fighting than any other Maximal or Predacon. Like he
yeah. Oh
regularly
yeah, yeah,
stomped Megatron one on one.
yeah. And just about everyone, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is
I mean,
one.
technically, he kind of beat Optimus on the bridge standoff before he saved him in Beast Wars Part 2
Did he?
because Optimus was falling off.
No, Dinobot was the one that was falling. Oh, what? No, right, right. Optimus was gonna fall, and then Dinobot like picked him up, and he was.
Then later,
Yeah, yeah,
when the missiles hit them, Dinobot fell.
yeah. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
But yeah,
But
so
it's good.
Dinobot dies. He saves the valley. He saves the lives of all who live here and those who are to come, as Optimus says. Um, I really love the music in that episode.
Oh, man, it could have been only like partially as good as it was and still have been the best episode of Beast Wars. But it is phenomenally like all of the beats of it are very well done.
hmm
Yeah, the music was really well done.
Yeah, I really like the. It's a little piece of music that we've only heard in that episode, but we got a little bit of it in Nemesis Part 2 when Dinobot was kind of remembering his previous life. Dino Clone 2.
Right. Little snippets of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really good music. Great episode. Like I said, it's basically everyone's favorite episode of Beast Wars. Not mine, but it's definitely in the top 10.
Then there's an interesting episode that I really like that follows. It is a filler episode. It doesn't change anything that happens before or after it, but Transmutate.
uh, we we get some pretty good character development for Rampage in this episode.
Exactly. And Rampage is never really touched on much after, right? Like it's
I was
a
gonna
filler.
say, I was gonna say, what's unfortunate is that they didn't really explore Rampage as a character, the nuances of him as a character beyond this, which I would have liked to have learned more about him, but the show just seemed hell bent on having Depth Charge like roll in as the Punisher and being like, Protoform X is still active.
I
Yeah.
don't think so. Yeah,
Fuck off, Primal. X is here.
X gonna give it to you. Ho ho.
I'm gonna give it to
Um,
X, motherfucker.
um,
Fuck.
Depth charge.
No,
There's no
I hate
character
Depth
development
Charge.
with that character. He's missing most of the time, and he's um uh and uh, and when he is around, he's not helpful. Eh,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. So
But anyways,
transmutate.
transmutate is a weird transmetal protoform that does not have a beast mode, but he's affected by the transwarp explosion somehow. He has different abilities.
Yeah, they seem to have like weird like superpowers. Like you said, they don't have a beast mode or an alt mode at all, but they are transmetal. They seem very intellectually challenged.
Almost like exactly they're not fully abled mentally,
I
like
thought
right, like we talked about.
I thought you were gonna say fully functional.
I should have. Yeah, they're not fully functional, but like actually, and it's oddly like when I was a kid, I was like, "Pff, this is a stupid episode," but as an adult, I'm like,
Same.
this is really deep. Like apart from him, the plausible like the whole like oh he's developmentally like challenged or whatever, right? Like that's why he seems very childlike. He's also technically just born, so
Yeah.
it's really tragic but like deep episode that also explores Rampage, and like you said, it doesn't ever follow up on that, and like it was shockingly good and
Yeah.
like sad. Other than Code of Hero, like the most emotionally
I know, what a 1-2 punch, hey?
yeah.
Uh, and then we're
Yeah,
followed up
so
with the agenda parts 1, 2, and 3. Um,
bananas.
Banana phone, even.
It's a little banana phone. Not gonna lie.
Basically, Megatron finds Arc Mountain. He, as I said, planet Energon is Earth. And we discover, and this blew my fucking mind when I was like 12 watching these episodes as a kid. We discover that the Autobot Ark, the ship that crashed on Earth 4 million years ago in the Transformers More Than Meets the Eye Part 1, is straight up chilling out in this mountain. And Megatron's big plan is to break into the Ark and wag his dick laser in Optimus Prime, G1 Optimus Prime's face, and blow a big load all over him, which is exactly
Meha his brains out.
what he does.
And he fucking does.
Oh, also, Ravage, one of Soundwave's tapes from G1, shows up.
Representing the Tripredacus Council.
The
He's
Tripredacus
like
Council.
a secret agent, yeah, that answers only to them.
Which
That was pretty cool.
it was cool, and it was like the Tripredacus Council was like set up as like this like ooh like mysterious like secret organization in the Predacons, but the show doesn't do anything with it beyond that.
No, and like Ravage is really cool. He's coming to arrest Megatron.
Yeah.
He's fucking the Predacons shit up because they need to make a move that's not as blatant.
Yeah.
They they had things in the work, and this guy's coming and fucking it up.
Yeah.
So he arrests Megatron with the help of the Maximals. Megatron finally is starting to seem very intelligent. Before he was kind of just like this dramatic, like Shakespearean villain, but like this season, I think did establish him as very intelligent and dangerous. So I did like
Yeah.
that about the seasons. I actually did like that about the seasons. Because he talks his way not only out of Ravage's ship's prison, but into recruiting Ravage for
Yep.
the cause.
Yeah, so he
And like you said, though, it ends with a dick laser to the face.
dick lasers to the face, which creates a big quote unquote time storm. That yeah, air quotes. Time storm that is destroying all of the Maximals, including Maximal protoforms who are Predacons now, like Black Arachnia. Which at this point I'm kind of wondering. I'm like, Megatron, at this point, like pretty much your entire army is just all like stasis pod protoforms. Like you're gonna be left with no one but Waspinator.
Waspinator doesn't want to help you. Help
And
you, man.
as we'll find out, Waspinator like doesn't even really like being a bad guy, which is something I always kind of speculated.
Right? Waspinator needs vacation.
Yeah,
Right?
like
Like we've always kind of like thought that he was begrudgingly going along with Megatron's
he's
orders.
literally just a low wage grunt who's doing it for a paycheck, but he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So that was the end of season 2. Season 3 begins with Optimal Situation, the fallout from the time storm, and the Maximals get into the Ark, and Rhinox does some emergency surgery on Optimus Prime,
In
and
order to fix his mug, they need to remove his spark.
in order to prevent him from dying, they need to pull his spark out, and Optimus Primal needs to carry it in his body so his spark doesn't die. He's basically like a living life support system for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But when he takes Optimus Prime's spark in him, he
He becomes
becomes Optimal Optimus.
Yep. He gets his final and worse form,
But biggest too.
but biggest, yes.
And Megatron like shows up and he's all like, "Hi, I'm going to stop you again." And Giant Optimus is like, "I don't think so. Get out of here, bad guy."
And Megatron
And
is
also-
literally like, "Ah, I see we have a new Optimal Optimus on our hands."
Well, you don't need to tell me twice. Goodbye. And I'm like, you're giving up little quickly there. But indeed he is very chunk. And they end up fixing Optimus Prime's like head, all the
Yeah.
circuitry, his face, and they can put the spark back in. But Optimal Optimus stays the same. He gets to keep his like Autobot influenced body.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Rampage destroys the Axelon by sending it into the ocean.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next episode, Depth Charge, our favorite character on this show, shows up. Not in a stasis pod, but he shows up in a ship that looks like stupidly similar to what ends up becoming his like transmetal like third form, his like third
Coincidence?
vehicle form. So his like flying manta ray form. It's exactly what the ship looks like. So he shows up.
The second form?
Manta ray. He's got his robot form, his manta ray form, and his like quote unquote vehicle mode that the Transmetals had, which was his
Right.
like flight mode. And his
He
ship
shows up.
his ship looks like his flight mode. So he
He
shows
shows
up
up.
and
He has one goal. He wants to find X. That's
y-
Rampage.
yeah,
Yada yada yada. It's
yeah,
fucking boring.
it's dumb. Next episode's the exact same shit, but also
It is.
yeah, it's quite literally. Exact same shit, but also while that's going on, Rat Trap lives in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, a
At
yellow
least that part
submarine.
was fun.
No, that was fun. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, Rat Trap goes in like a little submersible to recover Sentinel from the sunken remains of the Axelon. He does, but then he fucks that up. It's a trap.
If you didn't already hate Depth Charge actually fucks the Maximals getting Sentinel back by flying into Silverbolt, who's carrying it,
Yeah.
and Rat Trap. And they all go boink, and like Looney Tunes sound effects come up, and then the Predacon, like Waspinator or Inferno or someone's like, Megatron will reward me.
Yeah.
And indeed, that episode ends with Megatron very sinisterly, like pressing at that big red button that we saw Rat Trap in a better mouse trap
A better mousetrap. Yeah.
press, and a shield forms over the dark side, and
Sentinel
this
online. Cheers.
Sentinel Online. We didn't have America Online in my day. We had Sentinel Online.
um. Then there's some fucking cyber raptors, and then
There's amusing parts to that with the kids.
Axe Ape showing up and
Axe Ape
saving the
shows
day.
up.
Okay, so
So
we,
there-
we didn't talk about him before, but so in season 2, Code of Hero, there's one bit where Dinobot fashions a makeshift axe using a tree branch and a stone, and attacks a Predacon with it. Some fucking ape, some like Neanderthal dude, notices this, and after Dinobot dies, he picks it up and kills a snake with it. And then he's all like, yeah. And then throughout the rest of the series, this dude that we have lovingly dubbed Axe Ape just keeps showing up with that same fucking axe.
Like a fucking boss.
Like a fucking boss. I love Axe
Leading
Ape.
his tribe.
I want to know more about Axe Ape.
I want to know more about Axe Ape, where he's leading his people, presumably just away from the Predacons, right?
Mm-hmm.
The day-to-days of him, how they set up their base, because every time we get to see the proto-humans, they're like a little bit more advanced. Ooh, they're living in caves now. Oh,
Yeah.
they're living in huts now. Yeah.
I
They're
have
throwing spears.
I have a sneaking suspicion that we are literally the only Beast Wars fans who want to know more about Axe Ape's life.
Depth Charge can fuck off.
Yep.
Quick Strike can not exist. Axe Ape is like above many of the characters that I would like to learn more about.
I completely agree. uh, Axe Ape forever.
Yeah.
Axe Ape.
And it's rad. He saves the day at least once. He like shows the Maximals how to beat the Transmetal Dinobot clones.
Yeah, the Cyber Raptors. Yeah.
The Cyber Raptors. Yeah.
So Farrell's. Excuse me. So next episode, Feral Scream Part 1. Megatron uses a transmetal driver, which is a thing that we have never seen or heard about before, but it's apparently an alien artifact.
Is this before or after Depth Charge goes to throw it in the lava?
This is before.
Oh, because this is the first time we see. Right.
Right.
This is the Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Victor von Megatron uses the transmetal driver to create a Transmetal 2 clone of Dinobot using half of Rampage.
His Igor.
He is,
Yes,
yeah.
master.
Yeah. using half of the spark of Rampage. And he does. And
He doesn't
Cheetor,
need to manually torture Rampage anymore. He can
yeah.
let
Cheetor
his Frankenstein do it.
Cheetor interrupts, and Cheetor and Silverbolt interrupt, and Cheetor
Right.
ends up getting like shot into some like green
Lightning
energy beam
Storm beam,
that's
yeah.
from the Transmetal 2 equipment.
He contracts cat lycanthropy.
Yeah,
He
basically.
werewolfism. Yeah.
Yeah, he becomes a were-cheetah. Uh, it's it's a really like lengthy and drawn out explanation for how he gets his Transmetal 2 form,
It is.
basically.
And his spark is smaller and it fits in his hip. And sometimes it pops open and he gets Cheetor sense.
Yep.
Like
That
what, twice?
that
The whole show?
once,
Once?
twice, maybe.
Maybe
Regardless,
twice.
it's never explained. We
No.
start to find out as season 3 goes on that all of the Transmetal 2 characters all have some like weird superpower, but it is never explained at all.
Right. What are
Uh,
their powers? Cheetor can like
he's got
has spider sense.
Yeah, he's got spider sense. Black Arachnia has telekinetic powers.
Right. She can actually lift things, which she uses once.
Yeah, she uses once and never
Yeah.
again. Fuck. Who's the other Transmetal 2? Dinobot.
Right.
I guess he doesn't have a superpower.
He just has a lot of predator weapons.
Yeah.
His eye can do like 3 different things,
Yeah.
but only in one episode.
Um. So yeah, Were Cheetah. Whatever. Were Cheetah. It's
yeah.
Cheetor.
It's Cheetor. We all know it is. The
The
show
sh-
pretends like the viewer doesn't know what the creature is. It's everyone knows.
Yeah, it was obvious to me when I was watching this back in the day.
Yeah. Kids know.
Black Arachnia, Proving Grounds is the next episode. Black Arachnia, overhears the Maximals talking about removing her Predacon core, and she's all like, no, fuck that. And she, like, fucks off. Silverbolt follows her. There's a battle that ensues between her and Dino Clone 2, Electric Boogaloo.
It's kind of cool because she's like following him in the woods for a while. There's a cat and mouse
Yeah.
kind of thing going on. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. She tries to get him to join her. He is all like, nah, fuck you. And then Silverbolt saves the day. Because, of course, why not? Then,
He could like create a mirage of himself, but he only did that like this episode.
oh, okay. Yeah, so that's his
That-
superpower then.
But it was like a machine that had he had to take out of him because Silverbolt uses it to make a mirage of himself later, and then we never see it used again.
Much like most game-changing pieces of tech
Really a
on this
magic
show.
power though. Yeah.
What was that device in season 1? The transmuter?
Oh, that forced them
Back into beast mode?
Maximals
Yeah.
back into beast mode, but also for a certain time, presumably until they go into the CR chamber, they can't transform back. And we were like, wow, this is a game changer.
It is a game changer. It literally never fucking comes up again. Then we got Go With The Flow.
Oh, right.
One of the worst episodes of this show.
I thought it was funny, but you hated the shit out of this
I
one, didn't you?
fucking hated this episode. Yeah, Megatron kidnaps one of the Neanderthal kids, presumably one of Axape's children.
Yeah, there's 2. There's like Una and Bam Bam. I don't know.
Trogdor.
Trogdor. And when I was a kid, I hated the little kids. I didn't care. I wanted Maximals and Predacons to fight each other every episode. As an adult, these little like human like monkey children are just a fucking like joy. Um,
They're all right.
the Christopher thinks they're all right, but
I
more
was shit. I was shit talking them like earlier in the earlier like when we were actually covering the
yeah,
episodes, but I was mostly just like doing a bit.
yeah.
I didn't actually hate them.
Just like Axe Ape, they are kind of they add to an episode. If an episode is good or bad, it's not because of them.
Mm-hmm.
What's this one called again?
Go with the flow. As
Go
I
with the flow.
mentioned
It's not
on
bad because of Una. It's bad because the plot is meh.
as I mentioned on that episode of the podcast, I did really like Youth Pastor Cheetor. No, that episode was fucking dumb. Though otherwise,
Black
like,
Arachnia was gonna see that he was good with kids, and kind of, oh, well, maybe I'm interested in him too, but
oh,
we never crossed that path.
maybe I should shack up with him. He's a good father
Yeah,
figure for these
yeah. Silverbolt,
childbearing
like,
hips.
right? Because Silverbolt's like ridiculously like jelly, and this is during the whole like Cheetor hits puberty and he likes Black Arachnia phase, but then they
It's
quickly
weird.
kind of drop that.
Yeah.
It's weird, yeah.
Season 3
He's
is
like,
pretty bad.
remember the part where like he falls into her and he's like, "Oh, hey," and he's like leaning against her against the wall or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I remember being an awkward teenager too, but it, his
Yeah.
bad boy phase was tiresome
It is
instead of
unbecoming.
amusing. Unbecoming of a Maximal.
Yeah, in that episode, basically, Megatron is literally building a fucking death ray, and he needs a Neanderthal kid to operate it because there's too much energon being emitted from it.
But they could just unplug the
And they need Neanderthal kid to finish the like energon shielding, but like they could just unplug the device. Like this was only a problem when they plugged it in before the shielding was finished, so they could just unplug it and then finish the shielding and then plug it back in. It's such a fucking stupid episode.
and then it goes wrong because Una steals like a crystal
Yeah.
thing, a chip. It's a computer chip that focuses the death ray, and she stole it.
Yeah.
And Youth Pastor Cheetah is like, "Oh right, good job," and the death ray blows up, and Megatron's like, "Blast it all!"
Blast it all, Beast Wars once and for all.
Blast it all, Beast Wars once and for all. Like, didn't the episode have a dumbass name too?
Yeah, it was Go with the Flow.
Yeah, when we were reviewing that, we were like, why?
Yeah.
Usually the name
Yeah.
of an episode has something to do with it.
Yeah, I think you speculated because like there's this like whole sequence of like Rat Trap and Depth Charge who was like stuck in beast mode because reasons. Depth Charge was basically like a river raft and they were floating
Right, and they
down
were
the river.
flowing down the fucking river, right?
And you were like, okay, sure. You were like, okay,
Yeah,
I
I
guess
remember
maybe
now.
maybe this is why, and I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. It's good enough.
Anyways.
It's good enough for me for this fucking episode that I fucking hate.
Crossing the Rubicon.
Yeah, Black Arachnia wants to become a transmetal too, and
She stole that. I always forget Transmetal Driver.
the transmetal driver.
Depth Charge had threw it in the lava one
One of
time.
the
He was like, "Oh,
Stupidest
Don't need to-
MacGuffins I've ever seen in anything.
he was like, "Don't need this," because the computer couldn't analyze it, so he just chucks it in the lava, and um Black Arachnia falls faster than gravity,
That
and
is so careless. That makes me like depth charge. Like, that makes me hate depth charge even more. And I
depth
already.
charge, shitty character. Depth charge actually costs them retrieving Sentinel. So that's my second reason disliking him besides his character.
Cringy
Third reason,
dialogue. Bad voice acting.
they toned him down with the
They
voice
did.
acting
But
as they
for the
went.
first couple of episodes, like.
But him tossing the transmetal driver is like strike three for me. I'm like, I hate this guy.
I'm fucking glad he died.
He died doing what he loved. Fighting Rampage.
Yeah.
That is a pretty amazing fight. I will give
Pretty
it
good,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, where the
But
hell were we?
but yeah,
Crossing
so
Rubicon?
but yeah, so Black Arachnia like trying to turn herself into a transmetal 2. Um
Oh right, Journey,
Silverbolt like
Fantastic
interferes.
Voyage.
Yeah, Silverbolt interferes and like that fucks some shit up, and it turns out her like Predacon core is like going to kill her or some kind of bullshit. So Rhinox goes all
Let's
like,
put in like some sort of like self-destruct
yeah,
thing.
yeah. So Rhinox is like,
On
I
the
need to,
Vision Quest.
man, I need to go on a fantastic voyage. Yeehaw! Throw me a beer. And so he sends
This
a pro.
guy, he's an astronomer. He's a microbiologist. He does everything.
He only does everything.
But it doesn't work because the Predacons like
Drinks
attack the
12
base,
beers, gets up tomorrow, does it again. Whoa.
goes to work, basically sober. Long story short is Megatron and his goons fuck it up. There's like a giant Acme like rocket that messes it up. Rhinox tries his best. Tarantulas' like backup like firewall thing kills Black Arachnia, but don't worry, the transmetal driver happened to be sitting in a pedestal a few feet away from
Yep.
where Black Arachnia died, and everyone else just leaves her. They go, well, there's nothing we can do. Oh well, time to go grab a beer and watch the game. And they all fuck off and leave the room. The transmetal driver like floats. They just leave for no reason. I don't understand why they wouldn't bury her or recycle her or something.
A
Right?
recycler. Just like throw her into the compactor. well, we don't need this anymore.
Does anyone want to have a go with her before I throw her in the compactor? Now's your chance while she's warm.
Oh Christ. So the transmetal driver just like comes to life out of nowhere and then like flies over top of her and resurrects her, makes her transmetal 2 Black Arachnia.
Transmetal too. So the thing that cost Megatron lots of resources, energy during an energon storm, right?
Yep.
All of this like prep, part of Rampage's spark, all of this to make Dino Clone 2. The transmetal driver just does by itself.
Yep. I didn't even think of that actually.
We never, yeah.
Uh,
Cheetor goes through this painful like thing where he has to learn to control his like feral like were cheetah like form. Nope. Black Arachnia is just fucking
Black
giving it.
Arachnia is like, I died, but here, take a look at my new hot girl body.
All she had to do was die, I guess. I guess the transmetal driver liked her more.
It was a
I don't
pretty
know.
good episode, but that was such a dumb
Just
resolution.
that part was
Yeah.
weird. I'm fine with her being Transmetal 2, fine with her being saved. It's just
That was a Deus Ex Machina.
things don't need to be explained. They just need to make sense, even in sci-fi or fantasy. Oh, how did this person? I thought they were left for dead. No, blah 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 healed them with their elf magic. Good enough for me,
Yeah.
right? But there's nothing here. If
Nope.
they were like, oh, the Transmetal 2 is attracted to like fading sparks. The Transmetal driver is attracted to a spark when it's fading. That good enough for me,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I mean, this is the show that didn't even bother explaining what the Transmetal driver was or where it came from or how Megatron got it. So,
Good point. Yeah, so
season
anyway, she
3 is
goes in.
bad. Season 3 is bad. I'm just saying it
Yeah,
now.
she goes and kicks butt
Yep.
in her new form.
Yep.
She's a Maximal, hurrah!
Then we got
And she says maximize.
Yep. Then we got Master Blaster, where Optimus is infected with like some kind of like bug that burrow from Tarantulas that like the Tarantulas like shoots with like a like blow dart, which I'm like, really? Why?
Why not your crossbow thing?
Yeah, yeah. So it burrows into Optimal Optimus and takes control of him, and Quick Strike is like walking around in like a dollar store version of Optimal Optimus's body, controlling him. And yeah, they fuck up the Maximals, they invade Arc Mountain, Megatron.
They essentially win. They imprison all of the Maximals even.
Yeah, and they even get into the Arc. And at this point, and you pointed out, Megatron isn't all like, well, I'm going to blow up Optimus Prime's face again. No, this time he's like, well, look at what Optimus Prime Spark did to Optimus Primal. Yes, he made him optimal. I too would like to be optimal. Yes, I will take G1 Megatron Spark with my spark tentacle thing from my chest. Ha.
I'm so perplexed because later they keep trying to attack the Ark. So it's like you can do both, Megatron. you can take G1 Megatron Spark and blast G1 Optimus Prime in the face.
Yeah.
But like and indeed, after this episode, he still wants to destroy the Ark.
Yeah.
So but you were on the Ark. Why didn't you blow Optimus in the face again? And like you pointed out, the biggest fucking plot hole in the entire show, I think, maybe you can find a bigger one, is the fact that he wants to destroy the Ark entirely, including the Decepticons on the Ark.
Yeah. That was my biggest problem with the finale, which otherwise is actually like I like the finale of this series, but the biggest fucking problem I have with it is like he's like, okay, I'm gonna point the Decepticon ship's fusion cannon right at the Ark, which is housing all of the Decepticons, which are my ancestors. So, like, I get in the agenda him wanting to kill Optimus Prime and blank the Maximals out of existence. Like, that makes sense to me. But it's like, you're also, like, taking out your ancestors, too. So this removes you from the timeline as well.
The only thing I can think of is that because he has G1 Megatron's spark in him, he's saving Megatron, like G1 Megatron.
Right.
And all of the other Decepticons are inconsequential. But he's also insane. So at this point, he's like an insane villain. Like he's lost it.
Straight up, like reading like biblical quotes and everything.
He's sending his minions on like suicide missions that he doesn't give a shit about.
Yeah.
Like it he yeah, he's bananas. He's lost it.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's other victories. It's revealed that hey,
Oh,
Tarantulas is betraying.
should point it out. Master Blaster. Quick Strike betrays Megatron. Turns out he's working with Tarantulas. Tarantulas wants to blow up the Ark wholesale, and people are
Yeah.
like, "Wait, why? You'll destroy us too."
And he's like, I'm not descended from Decepticon or Maximal.
Yeah. And so Optimal Quick Strike takes Megatron and drops him into the lava, but then he arises as a fucking dragon. So
Yeah,
that's his optimal
Megatron.
form.
And he thanks Tarantulas because him being dropped in the lava had some positive effect on his transformation.
I guess.
He alludes to it, sort of.
Yeah.
He's like, I have you to thank for blah blah blah. And I'm like, you only became a dragon because you were. And then he kicks Tarantulas's butt and he fights Optimal. He shoots ice and fire through the fire and flames on expert
A,
difficulty.
a song of ice and fire.
A
Cheers.
song of ice and fire. We never see the ice ever again.
No.
No, and they end up retreating
Yeah.
because Optimal gets control of his body back.
Yeah. And even
And he
though
fights.
Megatron is all
Megatron's
like,
winning.
yeah, even though Megatron is all like, enter the dragon. Beware the dragon.
Why did they retreat again? Wasn't Megatron winning?
He was. But then, like, the other Maximals showed up, and then Megatron kind of just gave up. So it's like, I
He does
guess,
that a lot in the
yeah,
show.
I was like, okay, I guess this, like, new, like, badass, like, dragon body of yours ain't shit, because, like, as soon as you're outnumbered, you're like, well, time for a tactical retreat, yes.
He had Rampage with him. I whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Other,
Megatron mysteriously like retreats like 10 times during the entire season. So
Other victories, we finally find out who the mysterious aliens were, and it turns out they are floating energy skulls voiced by Rhinox and Tigatron, who
yeah.
now suddenly care that Megatron is disrupting the timeline. That's never been a thing that they've given a shit about before, but now all of a sudden they do.
But before they were going to destroy all life on the planet.
Yep, which would have the planet which has the Autobot Ark at this point, like the Ark, which and the Nemesis, which houses the Autobots and Decepticons, not to mention like the predecessors for humanity. They were going to just straight up destroy the planet Energon.
They don't give a shit about the Cybertronians or humans.
Yeah, they don't care. But all of a sudden, now the aliens, now we find out they're called the Vok,
And they need to stop Megatron from
because
messing with the
Megatron is
timeline.
messing with the timeline too much, and it's like you guys were you
Why do
guys
you guys
like
give a shit?
actively tried to really fuck the timeline, even more like I would argue even more so than Megatron.
Absolutely, because it's taking out
Everyone in one fell
everyone,
swoop.
including the humans. Yeah.
I mean,
Now you could argue,
I mean-
well, we didn't know they were on the planet at the time. So what? You're not all knowing all of a sudden?
Yeah, they're supposed to be these big, like, omniscient beings.
They sent the probe down, so presumably they know everything that Optimus Primal does.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they still chose to destroy the planet.
Yeah.
And to make matters
Big
worse,
ass plot hole.
to make matters worse, you're like, yeah, Bird Mom and Tiger Dad. They mashed them up with Vok technology into a single body, and then the Vok possess them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That
and
was
then
the
they
impression that I
beam
got.
through. They're possessed. They have their sparks combined in them, but these two Vok are possessing the form at the moment, and
These
they.
Tuvok, Star Trek Voyager.
I know Voyager. Yeah, I know my Black Vulcans, motherfucker.
Oh
He's my
well.
favorite Vulcan.
Oh well. I'm.
Controversial
Excuse me.
opinion.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I ever doubted you.
He was sassy. Well,
Tuvok
the
was pretty
sassiest
rad.
one,
Yeah.
yeah, he's pretty rad. All the Vulcans from the series are mostly rad. I didn't really watch the one with Quantum Leap guy. There was like a pixie
Enterprise.
haircut, like yeah,
T'Pol.
wasn't she a slutty Vulcan? I can't remember.
She
Didn't she
was.
sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, That's the only reason I wanted to watch that. But I only caught episode one at the time.
It continued the Star Trek trend of like having a largely male cast, but like one like super hot babe.
Hey man, Janeway, Janeway, the weird little alien who only like lives like 10 years or whatever. Seven of nine. The half Klingon lady.
Well, 7 of 9 was the babe of Voyager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. The others are babes too. Janeway's a babe, right? I know what
Actually,
you mean. Though. Sorry, go ahead.
well, okay, so it continues the Star Trek trend that Voyager kind of set up. Actually, no, like Enterprise kind of set it up with like having like a primary or like Next Generation kind of set it up with like having like a main female character wearing like a skin tight outfit that you see on the bridge all the time, which is Counselor Troy.
One female character that's for sex appeal is
Yeah.
what. Who is it on Enterprise?
It on Enterprise it's T'Pol, the Vulcan chick. On
Right.
Voyager it was 7 of 9. On Next Generation, I would argue that it's Counselor Troy.
You know what? Her outfit was a little tight, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I mean, later on as the show went on, they started putting her in just like a regular like science uniform,
Yes.
which I appreciated because I'm like that makes way more sense.
Y- Wasn't like her first thing like very form fitting and had like
It,
the
it was,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. You're right, yeah. But Voyager was shameless. Like
Very much
Jerry
so.
Ryan Jerry Ryan was like a tall, very curvy, long-legged, very busty. Like Voyager was shameless about its
Have you watched
seven
Star
of
Trek
nine.
Picard at all? Because she's in that.
Is she rad? I heard that
She is
she
rad.
her character is good.
She's a total badass, but also like, and I'm not gonna hang on this too long, but that woman is in her 50s now. Still looks great. uh, Speaking of looking
She
great,
takes her vitamins and plays tennis and does yoga, folks.
yep.
That's all it takes.
Uh,
Oh, good genes probably help.
yeah, that's actually a big part of it. I would argue.
The biggest part I would argue is genes and plastic surgery. Other than that, yoga and taking your vitamins.
Yep. And saying your prayers and training hard.
That's right, brother.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you picked up on that. Hell yeah, brother. NWO for life.
Well, they just had their 25th. You posted about their 25th anniversary.
Yeah. At the time of recording, it is July 8th, 2021. July 7th, so yesterday, was the 25th anniversary of WCW Bash at the Beach 1996, which is where the Outsiders fought Sting and Macho Man Randy Savage and someone else. Can't remember. I think it was like Lex Luger or someone. But they were hyping up the appearance of like the mysterious third man, and like it was this big like mystery on WCW Nitro for weeks. Like, oh, who's the third man? And then while the match is going on, Hulk Hogan shows up,
Oh shit.
and people are like the crowd's like cheering, and the audience and the commentators are like, yes, yes, Hulk Hogan is here to save WCW from the Outsiders, from the invaders. Hulkamania running wild, woo! And then Hogan like gets in the ring, and like the Outsiders like scramble away out of the ring, and like Macho Man's like lying on the mat, and Hogan's like grabs the ropes, and people are like cheering, and then Hogan like rips his shirt off and people cheer, and then all of a sudden he just like fucking leg drops Macho Man, and people are like, what's going on? What is what is Hulk Hogan doing? And yeah, and then that was the birth of the NWO. Hulk Hogan turned heel for the first time ever. People were like throwing garbage into the ring. Like a couple of people actually like tried to like from the crowd like tried to like jump into the ring. Like you can see footage of them like kicking the shit out of a couple of people from the crowd who like tried to like jump in. Oh, it's great.
Amazing.
Yeah. The NWO, I would argue the most important and dominant stable faction in the history of professional wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Video games. NWO versus
Yep.
WCW, baby.
Yep. And DX, Degeneration X from the Attitude era of WWF, definitely up there, but DX was very much a response to the NWO. The NWO was like the start of that.
Oh yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell no, brother, because we're talking about other victories. Tiger Hawk.
Oh. So Tiger Hawk can make earthquakes, eat Optimus. Tiger Hawk can make
Eat Optimus.
The earth swallows him up for some reason. But then Tiger Hawk wants to work with Optimus, so then why is he doing that to him? Right? Like, are they...
Yeah.
They came to stop Megatron, and the best way they could do that would be work with the Maximals, and then they fight Optimus. There's another... I don't even know if we probably mentioned how stupid that was when we reviewed it. But anyways, Tiger Hawk, really stupid. Don't like the character.
Predacon base is destroyed in the episode. Tarantulas kidnaps Tiger Hawk and then like points some like weird laser that extracts the Vok from him, and then the Vok possess Tarantulas, and while he's flailing around, the extraction laser gets turned around, and instead of extracting the Vok from him, it just vaporizes him.
Well, he falls into the Energon like power beam behind him.
Oh, okay.
And it shoots him, and that makes the power source explode, which kills Tarantulas, but also the Vok.
I guess,
even though they were spirits, because remember, Tarantulas was shooting them, right? And they were incorporeal. Yeah, they weren't affected by physical attacks. But they are affected by explosions, and you had argued, oh, maybe it was because they were in Tarantulas' body at the time.
Yeah.
And so they're susceptible to anything immortal.
It's still dumb. These are supposed to be omniscient creatures who, like, it's implied, in at least in season 1 of Beast Wars, it's implied they literally fucking created Earth.
To experiment on and mess with.
Yeah. And fuck that
just
episode.
These two? I thought there would be... Do you know what I mean? This was like an intergalactic like mighty empire, but there's just two? And to what end?
Well, and
They answered all the wrong questions for the wrong reasons.
I think I mentioned this back when we covered Other Voices, part 1 and 2, a while back. When I was a kid watching these, like, I literally thought the aliens were God. Like, actually God. And, like, if the show had dared to, like, go there, or at least, like, make, like, the quote-unquote aliens be, like, some sort of, like,
Celestial power.
some sort of like omniscient, like godlike being. That would have been really interesting. But no, it's just these like two like floating skulls that just get like vaporized as they're possessing tarantulas. It's so stupid.
Their
It
motivation doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't, and it's a bad episode. This is literally the worst episode of Beast Wars. Just be
It's the worst episode of Beast Wars, and Christopher and I both gave it no energon.
Yeah, it's the worst episode of Beast Wars just because like like fucking ruins. It doesn't ruin the first season like if you like take the first season as its own thing,
Standalone.
standalone.
Yeah,
The first season of the show works great as its own
yeah.
like standalone thing, but like like it completely fucking ruins like the entire like all the work, all of the like mystery and suspense involving like what the aliens were and like what the experiment was. And yeah, it's bad.
I'd actually have rather have never known,
Yeah, same.
and a different filler episode or a different episode replaced it. I don't even need the Vok on the planet at this point. They installed the moon as this backup thing. As far as the Vok, no, maybe it worked. But oh, that's weird. How come like, like Bird Mom and Tiger Dad are, oh, let's experiment on them. Kind of like how they took Optimus. But Optimus was in the probe, and then that returned. They took the other two directly. I'd rather just, it would suck, but I'd rather just never know what happened to them and never know who the Vok were or even what they were called than get this episode.
Yeah.
My headcanon is this episode kind of doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, it's like I was mentioning earlier, like my idea for like a Beast Wars role playing campaign, like completely just omits seasons 2 and 3. It just builds on season 1.
Yeah.
And
So that's Other Victories, folks, which means the final episode.
Nemesis. Megatron finds the ancient Decepticon warship, the Nemesis. Meanwhile, he sends the Three Stooges, Waspinator, Quickstrike, and Inferno off to find us a new base. Cheers. And it's such a like busy work task for them because like it has nothing to do with what his actual goal is.
This is end game for him.
Yeah.
He doesn't need a new base.
No.
He's just getting. They're gonna hinder him more than help. He's just
Yeah.
getting them out of the way.
Yeah. So Waspinator decides to quit being a Predacon. Good for Waspinator.
He gets blown into different pieces for it, but whatever.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's
It's
Waspinator.
happened to him many times before.
Dude, the dude is more indestructible than fucking Rampage, I would argue.
Yeah, he's fallen apart more times.
So yeah, the Decepticon warship, the Nemesis that actually shot down the Ark. Megatron finds it. Turns out Tarantulas found this shit a while ago and actually set up like a Sequest like DSV like train submersible like
on
underwater like tram system.
BioShock.
Yeah, basically BioShock. He set up Rapture. He built Rapture.
Yeah.
Down at the ocean depths of planet Energon. Cheers.
By himself.
Um, Rampage or depth charge and Rampage fight.
They
And
literally have a Highlander immortal
yeah,
battle with Energon samurai swords.
yep, and
It, it's probably one of the I don't like depth charge, but that is one of the better fights of the entire show. Is there usually underwater stuff sucks?
yeah,
Their underwater fights kind of rad. So
it's pretty good.
I'll give them that. Yeah.
Um, so they
But that just
fight.
takes one out of his four strikes away.
I see. For me, he has like 9 strikes. So,
Oh, there
uh,
you go.
yeah. Depth charge kills Rampage because Rampage lets him.
For
And
some reason. He was
well,
gonna lose anyway, maybe. Whatever.
yeah, and they both die in the ensuing explosion. Megatron raises the Nemesis from the ocean depths in a pretty damn cool shot.
It's pretty fucking sweet. The
Uh,
Nemesis rising from the water.
so
How convenient that Tarantulas has been fixing this in his off hours.
I know, right? Megatron flies the Nemesis around. He flies it over to Arc Mountain and kills Tigerhawk in the process. The show makes it out to be this like big deal, but it's like we literally met this dude like 2 episodes ago. Like, who fucking cares?
Not only that, they don't accomplish anything by sacrificing themselves, so it feels pointless.
Yeah.
Like it's not a sacrifice that also wounds the Nemesis or hurts Megatron or like whatever. They literally just die doing a
It doesn't.
Kamehameha blast.
Yeah, it doesn't even like buy the other Maximals time to do a
Doesn't buy
thing.
them
No,
time.
it's just like
I don't.
it's basically just like throwing yourself in front of a bus.
Yeah, it's like the people that are like, "Go on without me. I'll buy us some time," but then they immediately die in like gunfire, like
Yeah.
30 seconds later.
It's
Like
like
that
your
trope in a
intentions were
movie.
noble, but you didn't really accomplish anything. So
Yeah, they literally didn't. The Nemesis didn't even slow down to fight him.
no.
Oh.
Megatron's
Anyway,
busy reading the Covenant of Primus while all this is going on.
in Optimus Primal is too,
Yeah.
I guess. They're
Um,
both reading. There's only two copies. And Optimus Primal has one, and sorry, Optimal Optimus has one, and so does Megatron. Megatron found it on the Nemesis, right?
I like how he said, like, he's mentioning, like, all the things about the Nemesis, and he's like, and best of all, a Covenant of Primus. And I'm like, really?
Sure.
This is the best of all? Out of everything you've just found?
Haven't you heard? I'm batshit crazy now, and I read scripture.
So yeah, he's got Dino Clone 2 on the bridge of the Nemesis with him, and uh, after Rampage dies, Dino Clone starts having like a conscience, starts remembering who he is. He starts clashing with
I
Megatron.
dig.
Yeah, I dig it. There's like they clash like a few times, and Dinobot's even like,
Send,
I
he
have
sends
my
the
honor.
Maximals like
Yeah, he sends
the
them
blueprint for
schematics for uh, a shuttle that's on the Ark, and Black Arachne is like, wait, the history tracks never mention this, and I'm like, it's not there because you guys
because
took it.
you take it.
Yeah,
So technically, it's almost self-fulfilling, but you're meant to.
yeah.
This already happened. Yeah,
So
and
so,
I was like,
so
that's good.
Rhinox takes the shuttle and crashes it like right through the bridge of the
Pretty
Nemesis.
amazing.
It's pretty dope. Um, and the Nemesis goes down. Dino Clone 2 dies in the ensuing explosion. Optimal escapes. They fly off back to Cybertron with Megatron strapped to the hood,
And
basically.
with energy straps on the outside of the ship screaming. And Cheetor says something like, well, at least we don't got to listen to Megs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I the Maximals can be cruel sometime because you had alluded that that is would probably be torturous.
Yep. And yeah,
And
that's
then
the
everybody is okay. It's all the OG. Who's left alive? All the OG Maximals and Silverbolt and Black Arachnia.
yep,
That's it.
that's it. And that's seasons 2 and 3 of Beast Wars, and indeed the entire series.
The proto-humans put together
Oh,
Waspinator
right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
in a post end ending, and he is leading early mankind, and he finally gets his vacation. He's like drinking a mai tai, and he's being fronged by the ape.
Rasminator, happy at last.
Good ending. Good ending.
Yeah, I dig it. Um, that's seasons 2 and 3. Do we want to arbitrarily make our top 10 lists of episodes? I kind of
I
don't even
got
care at
mine,
this point.
baby.
Oh, you got
Yeah,
yours. Okay.
since we've been doing this and revisiting stuff.
Uh, listeners, I didn't really prepare for this at all. I should have, but I also kind of
We've
made the
already been doing this a while. We can kind of.
I
Do you
I
want to?
I kind of made the conscious choice to just like YOLO it. So, whatever. What's your number 10?
So my number 10 is when we meet Bird Mom. We get a little Cheetor vision quest, a little Rhinox like
That's the season 1
hacking.
episode.
Oh, do they have to be from? You know what? We're not doing this. I thought it was from the whole thing.
No, seasons 2 and 3 only, and then we'll later on we'll do a top 10 overall for
Well,
the series.
shit. Seasons 2 and 3 only.
Yeah.
I can give you. Let's do five each. I'm not
Okay,
doing 10.
sure. Let's do that.
Okay, number 5. Shit, man. Number 5.
Whatever. Fuck it. I'll just say my favorite episodes, in no particular order, are
Yeah.
Nemesis parts 1 and 2. Optimal Situation I liked quite a bit. The Agenda part 1, 2, and 3. Transmutate, Code of Hero, and Aftermath. That's how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is my top 9
That's your. Let's see here.
in no particular order.
I kind of did not like Aftermath. Like
I know. I like that
Trans-
episode a lot more than you do, but
yeah, I don't really. Wow, there are 2 parts of Coming of the Fusors. That I'm remembering. There was not much of season 2 for me to like. Maximal No More was dumb. Oh my god, Other Visits was. You know what? Bad. No particular order. I liked
Bad Spark. Bad Spark's my
Okay.
number 10.
Yeah, Bad Spark, Code of Hero, Transmutate, The Agenda.
Mm.
And Nemesis. That's it. I'm not even putting them in an order. Those are the ones that
Yeah,
I like.
I didn't either.
Like, I
Fucking YOLO.
yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
that's been our recap of seasons 2 and 3, folks. We got an email the other day.
Oh.
Yeah. Cheers. This comes in from Rob. He says, "Hey guys, I just discovered the pod with a capital P. over the week, me and my partner just finished up the War for Cybertron series, and with the assumed appearance of Dinobot, spoilers for the end of Earthrise, I was super pumped, lol. She suggested we watch Beast Wars, as we were both into it as kids, ellipsis. We then watched 20 episodes in 2 days, lol. She even asked me to get my old toys from my parents' house so she could see them, as she wasn't allowed to as a kid. It's kind of weird. She was allowed to watch the show, but wasn't allowed to have the toys.
If they end up listening to this, I'm kind of curious what that means.
Yeah, I'd like to know more about that too. So write in again, Rob.
This wasn't given their own money or wasn't given it for gifts for their
Yeah.
birthday.
Well, he specifically says she wasn't allowed to as a kid. Maybe her parents were like super weird and were like, "You're a girl, you can't have boys' toys."
I never even thought about that, but yeah, I knew a lot of kids that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just
It's
speculating. So if I'm
Maybe.
completely
I'm
off the
curious.
mark, Rob, write in again, please, and
Yeah.
let us know, because we're curious, genuinely.
Maybe they were Amish.
But then she wouldn't be watching Beast Wars. She wouldn't know what a TV
She
was.
snuck off the homestead to go watch at a neighbor's place like 10 miles, 15 miles away. Yeah, let's go.
Sure. Like I said, Rob, let us know. He continues, but I just discovered your pod, and it seems I just came across it as you finished! Exclamation mark. Now, will you guys be covering Beast Machines? Or the new Cybertron series with the Beast Wars characters in it? Or even the Japanese animes? Regardless, great work, and I'll be sure to check out your reboot pod, too. Well, thanks, Rob.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Reboot.
Yeah, so I'm glad you checked us out, man. I hope you listen to every episode and enjoy them all as much as I enjoy making them. But as for stumbling across this podcast at as we're just finishing up, indeed, we are done with Beast Wars now. We are officially done. We've covered every episode. We've even now just finished our recap of the latter two seasons. I had alluded to on I outright said on social media recently that on this episode of the podcast I was going to directly address and reveal the future of Too Much Energon. And now that we're here, I have to tell you, I lied. No, I'm not quite ready to reveal the future of the podcast quite yet. But what I will say is that we will be back next week with episode 48 of Too Much Energon, which brings us to another piece of listener engagement that we received.
Ooh, 2 listener engagement.
2. That's a record for this show so far. 2 in the same week. Artist Touch Productions on Reboot says, in regards to us shit-talking the IDW Beast Wars comic book during Nemesis Part 1 and 2.
Did we?
We did a little bit. So they say, so is the art style only thing don't like about the BW comics? 'Cause the writing is pretty good, especially number 5. Calling the whole thing terrible is really unfair. I feel like
in Canada definitely shit talked the comics more than I did.
No, she was I feel like she was very like trying to be like positive about it, like being like, "Oh, it's Beast Wars. I
was,
love it."
but she didn't like the story or the artwork.
Mm.
We twisted the answers out of her, and she was like, yeah, I don't really like how it looks.
So I feel like I explained why I don't like the Beast Wars comic. It is definitely more than just the artwork. Um,
Yeah,
and I feel like I went into that, but whatever. I had mentioned that we were gonna talk about the because I also said that I'd only read the first 2 issues, so I was like, okay, I'll read the first 5 because at the time of recording it's up to issue 5 at this point. So I'll read like all 5 issues and then we'll talk about them on this show. We've already been at this for an hour and a half or so now, so
you know what? If I can borrow them from Christopher or suck it up and get them too, and
yeah,
give them
yeah.
all a one through reading, and then come back to what I think on the matter as well.
Exactly. I'm gonna actually give them a fair shake, and with that in mind, we will be back next week with episode 48 of Too Much Energon, where we are talking about issues 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the 2021 IDW Beast Wars comic book. And on that episode of Too Much Energon, we will also announce what the next episode of Too Much Energon is going to be.
Oh,
Keeping you guys in suspense here for the, like, I don't know, like half dozen of you who actually give a shit.
but that means that there is going to be one after. You've tipped your hand.
Mm-hmm. And maybe one after that as well.
And then one after that, and onward and forever.
Onward and awkward, as I always say.
Yeah.
If you want to support the show, wherever you're listening to this or watching it, give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it a 5-star rating, anything. Tell your friends about it. If you don't like the show, then, well, tell your enemies. Maybe they'll become fans too. Fucking eye lasers. Fucking eye lasers. We have a merch store. tpublic.com/2too-much-energon. I'm going to be updating the stuff that's on there pretty soon. Making a few little tweaks here and there. Facebook.com/too-much-energon or Facebook.com/lasercomb, LAZORCOMB, any Lasercomb Productions podcast. That is the Facebook hub of them. So this show, the aforementioned Reboot podcast, Alphanumeric, War Planets, a Shadow Raiders podcast, another mainframe show from that era. Podcast me and my partner do called Based On, where we talk about movies based on books and the books that they're based on. 4 episodes of that are out currently. Patreon. We're starting
Big P.
the big P. We're starting to get some traction on Patreon finally. We're gonna be. I'm just about to make some tweaks to the tiers. But one thing I'm going to be doing is introducing a $10 tier. So as it stands currently, for $5 a month, you get access to the Lasercomb Discord, monthly shoutouts, and outtake audio, which is the stuff that we record in the preamble before we do these shows. It's anywhere from like half hour to like 2 hours of us. 2 hours of us just like shooting the shit about whatever. The $10 tier that's about to go live soon, probably in the next couple days, is going to include all of that, plus a new Patreon exclusive show that we're doing called Lasercomb Tonight, which is basically where we just talk about stuff that's going on in the world, news. Cal prefers to like lean more toward the important world events, whereas me, I would much rather the energy that I bring to it is a woman naming her children Slayer, Metallica, and Pantera. So, check that out. We've recorded.
Yeah, I prefer highbrow things like making fun of the mentally ill.
Yes.
But only when they're criminals.
So go check that out. We have a $25 tier, which gets you a t-shirt after 3 months, gets you all of the lower tier content as well. We're going to be launching a new show soon, also another Patreon exclusive, which is called Pilot Season, where $25 patrons get to pitch us a show to talk about, and within reason, we'll talk about the first episode of it on Pilot Season.
We will definitely always do every single thing that you suggest to us. Please give us money.
There's also another thing that we've got in the works that's going to be a $25 patron tier exclusive. But I'm not ready to announce that yet. I'd like to actually have an episode of that in the can before we start going public with it. So
Yeah, that'll be fun.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited.
That's on top of his foot reveal, his feet pics reveal.
Those would be big pictures because I have comically large feet. My grandfather used to call me clown shoes when I was a little kid.
Yes, supportive grandparents, always the best.
Yeah, the best around. Nothing's ever gonna keep you down. Nothing's gonna ever bring you down.
Nothing.
Nothing.
You got some Sideshow Bob motherfucking feet.
Yeah, pretty
Rakes
much.
are your number one enemy.
Anyway, I think that about does it tonight. So I've been one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
I'm your other host, NeoCal.
And until next week, season 3 sucks.
Tiger Hawk. Cancel Tiger Hawk. Hashtag cancel Tiger Hawk. I don't know.
Hashtag
They're dead already.
Hashtag cancel Tiger Hawk 2021. Hashtag
Bring
fuck.
back Bird Mom.
Hashtag Vok this season.
Oh, yeah. Vok this season. Vok the Vok.
And blah, blah,
Vok
blah.
reading
Beast was
scripture.
once and for all. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.